want to say, usually Andrea is the chair of the awards committee, and this year when she said she couldn't be, I was like, darn, because we already had a plan. Anyway, so we've had a wonderful evening, and we are building to our crescendo. We are so lucky to have Hadley Duvall here, and you may not recognize the name, but you're going to recognize the face. She is an advocate for women's health care. You have seen her on an ad for Governor Beshear telling her story. I've heard her speak, and she was so inspirational. She is the future. We are so proud to have her here. I just want to say I am a big, I'm sure it's going to be hard to believe, an MSNBC watcher, and her ad gets mentioned almost every day. So anyway, I'm so proud that she's here. So let's give a big warm welcome, a Fayette County welcome to Hadley Duvall.
Thank you for the support, and thank you for having me be here today, Karen. I am super honored to just even be able to be a voice and be somebody who is considered influential to so many people. It's so surreal to me. So, even though some of you probably recognize me now, less than a year ago, you had no idea who I was. I was just a college student at Midway University who had just moved to Fayette County, actually, into an apartment for the first time all by myself. Now, I will soon be a first-generation graduate from Midway University in just a couple of weeks, and I'll be continuing my education to graduate school and get my master's in social work. Even before coming to college, I knew I was going to strive to be a person to help the youth. I feel like I started out at a part of my life where a lot of statistics and boxes were already checked and labels were already made for me before I even started walking. I was the child of an addict. I was the child of divorced parents who also lived in 2 separate counties, and all the dirt that my mom did definitely got brought up and definitely got thrown in mine and my brother's face, and that from the jump made me feel like I was not up to par, especially with the men in my family. I come from mainly all boy cousins, all uncles, not a whole lot of women surround me, but the ones that do have shaped me into who I am today. My mother, even though she was battling addiction while I was young, at that moment I never felt like I went without. Her love was very strong and very genuine and unconditional, and I always saw her fight. I saw her stop taking care of my brother and I so that she could go get the help that she needed and we could have the mother that we deserved. And that took guts. My Nana took my brother and I in and took care of us for a long time, along with cousins who she did not have anything to do with her son at the time. In April of 2017, I found my voice just to my parents. And I decided to tell what was happening to me, what I was battling behind closed doors, and I never wanted to speak of it again. I experienced sexual abuse from my stepfather for about 10 years. Family vacations, nighttime, it did not matter where we were. We could be in the state of Kentucky, we could have been out of the state of Kentucky. It did not matter. I was continuously living a nightmare. And knowing that I was approaching the age of being able to drive and getting a boyfriend and really blossoming into a young woman made me feel so robbed. I didn't realize what I had lost because my abuse started so young. I didn't know who I was before. I was asked not too long ago, how has sexual abuse shaped your life or affected your life? So many people had stories from when they were in college or when they were in a bad incident in the older years, and just knowing that I don't remember a time when sexual abuse did not affect my life. I know the label victim is very stigmatized, so I like to call myself a survivor. I have stood up and spoke my story in front of an entire courtroom. I have spoken in front of detectives that I did not know when I was only 14 years old. I have fought the parole of my perpetrator and won. But most of all, through all of this, I've continued to just be a young woman. The hardest labor, some would say, there is, especially in the political world. Politics was never really anything that I thought I would have interest in because I was a girl who cared what I had to say. That's what I was told growing up anyways. Even from a young age, I've always tried to fight the stigma of that girls cannot do things that the boys can do. Many times in my childhood, I was asked if I even liked boys because I dressed like them. So I was just assumed that I was a lesbian. That kind of stuck with me, even though I was just an athlete who liked to wear comfy clothes. I wanted to always make sure that the boys knew that they couldn't lift more than I could, they couldn't run faster than me, and they definitely were not going to beat me in any game. It didn't matter if it was football. And I guess looking back, I've always been a force. I've always been willing to stand up for somebody, whether it was somebody I did not even know in a classroom or someone sitting by themselves at lunch. I want to make sure that everyone in the room is seen and heard. When deciding where to go to college and deciding what to major in, I kind of went back and forth. I had some people question my decision of becoming a psychology major. They asked if I was sure I wanted to carry this around with me for the rest of my life. And my response was, well, I didn't get that option. Whether you decide to embrace something that you've been through or not embrace it is your decision. But if you don't embrace it, it doesn't go anywhere. And if you do embrace it, then other people feel that it's okay to also embrace the things that they've been through. It is so unfortunate that women's health is now a political issue. Although I do not feel as if I am most educated in a political background, this has nothing to do with politics for me and everything to do with the little girl that I used to be and the little girls who are out there now. I remember searching for a rhyme or reason to all of the whys of what I went through. I remember looking in the mirror and asking myself, what is wrong with me? What did I do to deserve this? I did think it would be easy to move to Midway University and decide to never share my story again. I wasn't going to be a victim any longer, and I had no ties to the abuse. Until Roe v. Wade was overturned. That is a day I remember so vividly. When going through the legal process of reporting sexual assault, abuse, rape, it was very long and drug out, and I had to repeat my story in every single county that it occurred in. 10 years, it's a lot of time, a lot of counties. After it was all said and done, I decided that the details were mine to keep and nobody's to know. I was too ashamed to share them, because how did I possibly let this go on for so long? Did I not love myself enough to speak up? These are all things that go through my head whenever I was asked, why did you wait so long to tell? When I wanted to ask right back, why did you not notice? Finding my voice took a lot for me. And when I lost it for 2 years coming into college, I also lost myself. I almost dropped out of Midway University. I almost did not return back for my sophomore year. Until I had a conversation with somebody who put a lot of power into me and told me that I will not ever be just a statistic to them in their eyes. I'd never heard anybody say that to me before. You hear it so often that once somebody is a survivor of sexual violence, that so much changes for them, and that's true. It is something that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life, but you also decide the outcome. When Roe v. Wade was overturned, a light was lit again for me. I was so angry, and all the anger that I've felt, the person that I was most angry towards was not here to feel it. So I took a post to Facebook, and for some reason decided to let the entire community on my Facebook know that I had had a miscarriage when I was 12. And I was going to need an abortion so that I did not have to carry my stepfather's baby. I will say my world stopped that day because that was the biggest detail that I swore I was taking to the grave for a long time. And being able to speak out and put my truth out there allowed so many people to see it from a different perspective. It was a year later when I received a call from Governor Andy Beshear's office asking if I would be interested in doing a political ad. When I knew what it was for, I did not hesitate. My call was 4 minutes long, and I had said yes and scheduled a meeting for 2 days later to go film. I was actually working at Midway University at the time for a freshman orientation. And that was a very life-altering moment for me. That was I caught such a glimpse of self-love for myself. I was now in a university that I thought I didn't have what it took to stay there. I was working to help freshmen come in, hopefully they had a better freshman experience than I did. And now I was able to give a voice to so many. But why me? I spent a lot of time with God, and yes, as many Republicans are so shocked to find out I am a Christian, I spent a lot of time talking with God and asking him, why did you put this on my plate? Haven't I done enough for you? And then I realized that I was always looking for the person I wanted to save me, and I never found that woman. So I've made it my life purpose to become that woman and to save as many younger me's as possible. Male or female, the youth need to know that they are believed. We need to be invested in. I'm a first-generation college student. I did not know anything about financial aid, scholarships, student loans, anything. I was guided through this process. I was taught step by step exactly what to do. That's usually how it happens when you start a new chapter in your life. Except when youth join politics, we are already looked at as if we don't know enough. We are second guessed. We are told that we are too ambitious, too emotional. And then when we don't participate, we are told we are lazy, stupid. So what do you want? I have found that there is an amazing network of youth activists out there who are just looking for somebody to believe in them. It is stigmatized that the youth is not involved in politics, and I can agree, but I will say that the political field has not always been a welcoming place for the youth.
That's not true. Yeah.
If you want your youth to work for you and believe in you, believe in them. Invest in the youth. Listen to their ideas. Compromise with the youth. We see things from a different perspective, just like anybody with fresh eyes or a fresh idea is just, you want to welcome that, you want to bring that in, but when you are frowned upon for doing so, when your ideas are called crazy, your confidence lowers. I will say that Fayette County has done an amazing job of supporting me through my youth activism. The Beshears are people that I will forever be indebted to. I had an amazing team back me when I decided to take such a big political platform. I knew the risk, and I knew that I was putting it out there. I didn't know that I would be met with reporters who would have my police reports from me telling my abuse story to detectives and asking me about them in interviews. I didn't know that people would message my mother and call her a bad mom. I didn't know that I would put a target on my siblings' back since they are non-binary. But even through all of that, nobody judged me, and everybody has continued to uplift and support me. From Fayette County all the way down to Davis County, I cannot express how grateful I am to be able to now step into the political world and give a voice to so many, and hopefully allow so many to follow in my footsteps. Because I know I'm following in some pretty amazing footsteps, and I will be working my entire life to fill those footsteps. So thank you, Fayette County, for allowing me to, these past 2 years, to make this my second home. Loving me, even though you didn't know who I was, and appreciating the voice of a young person. It means a lot. Thank you.
So you heard Hadley talk. She is a proud, how many days do you have left to graduate?
It's May 11th, it's graduation.
So- So Donna Moore Campbell, one of our great supporters, is chairman of the board, so she's gonna be there to present Hadley with her diploma. So I got this, it's not the right side, but we'll exchange it. Resolution for Hadley, because I don't think any of us can repay for what all you've done for us. And as you can tell, you see why I went first to speak. So anyway, I think tonight we've been inspired and it's been great, and I'm so grateful that you came. So thank you.
Thank you.